walks down the street, he
Hello,
says,
everybody,
why
and
am I
welcome to our
soft
third episode of
Why
Pros
am I
and Joes.
soft
I am your
and
host extraordinaire, Frank Kaminsky, and with me, as always, are my three Joes, Alex, Dor, and Dylan. We want to thank everyone who listened to our first two podcasts. Hope you're enjoying what we're putting out there so far, and hope you continue to enjoy what we have coming in store for you. So let's talk about us a little bit first. Guys, Joes, how was your week? Just give us a little rundown of what you guys have been up to.
I think the first thing we got to bring up before we go on there, guys, we read the reviews, the ratings, and everything, so we appreciate the feedback. I think the first thing, we know we've been battling through some technical difficulties here. One thing to point out to you guys, Dylan has a bit of a habit of forgetting to do very important things at very important times, such as actually plug in his mic and or bring the tickets to the NBA draft with him when we get out of the fucking taxi.
Oh, so 3 years
so
ago,
we're
4
working on
years
this.
ago. Okay.
People don't forget, Dylan.
Yeah, well, we got them
years
back.
ago.
And honestly, it was a team bonding experience. Every single person, except for one who was pouting the whole time, who I will not name, was helpful and played a role. It was a bonding experience, and you all have to admit that.
It was quite humorous, though, because we were all wearing suits, and we were right by Wall Street. And so what happened was the tickets were left in the back of a cab, and they drove off.
An Uber.
And we were down in the train station when we realized it. So we all ran up and started running around Wall Street. It looked like it was a bad day on the market, and everything we owned just tanked. And we did bond as a team, though. Mikey was able to talk to the guy that could barely speak English and told him to get his ass back here so we could pick up
Obviously,
the tickets.
he didn't speak English. There was no way he could have just spoke English
Okay,
and made
Dylan.
that easy. No, I'm saying it made that
Yeah,
easy.
But the whole thing could have been avoided if you would have just remembered the tickets.
Well, I put them.
And
We were
just like
in.
if you could have last weekend just clicked the mic input
Hey,
on your recorder.
You weren't
device.
even there. You were too busy, all nervous before the draft.
Yeah.
Stop deflecting it. It sounded like
I'm
your
not
audio
deflecting.
was in
Dylan,
a
you
pool
dropped the
hall
ball.
last week.
So I had like 15 tickets in my back pocket. So I put them in the little pocket in the seat in front of me, and we made a last-second decision. Everyone jump out of the car. Like, this is taking forever. We're not even going to get to the draft on time. And funny little side note, the draft didn't start for like 2+ hours after that. So we easily would have made it. But
Dylan, we all showed
It was
up
delayed.
like we had just gotten out of a sweatshop in suits.
oh, I know. But I'm
Dripping
saying,
wet.
Like, we all jumped out of the Uber. Anyone could have made that mistake. I made the mistake.
Whoa.
All right.
Whoa.
All right.
Whoa. No need for that kind of talk.
Why not?
So I guess I
Everyone
was
is
just
friends
kind of
here.
getting to the fact that we're
This
working
is
on
also
it, guys.
another lesson. This is also another lesson. Whenever you call Dylan out on one of these things, he always goes into defense mode so quickly.
Well,
It's not
because
like, oh man, it's a learning experience. You're right. Dylan just gets so defensive, and then he starts putting blame off on other people.
Well,
deflecting
first of all,
deflecting it. It's a
we
defense
were doing
mechanism.
introductions.
He's not wrong though. It was a learning experience,
It
and it
was.
was very funny to hear about afterwards when I came up and talked to everyone. And the first thing everyone talks about is, we almost didn't even make it. Dylan forgot all the tickets in the cab.
I stole the spotlight from you that night.
that day. Yeah.
How does that make you feel, Frank? That people remember Dylan more than you getting drafted?
It is the first thing I think about when I think about the draft, to be quite honest with you.
It was a traumatizing experience. I was ready to drop $1,000, which I hardly could afford at the time, on a bunch of tickets for everyone. I came to the grips that I might have had to do that, and I was ready to do it.
It seriously
because
was
that's
like,
the kind of guy I am.
It was. See, there you go. There's the responsibility. There's the growth right there.
Yes.
He is willing to
Good
admit
job,
that
Dale.
it was his fault.
Obviously,
and he was.
obviously it's my fault. But I'm
Yeah.
saying anyone could have done that. It was a last-second situation. We all jumped out of the Uber and dove into the subway.
So, guys,
yeah.
moral of the story is we're working on the audio issues. Thanks for being
Yeah,
patient.
hopefully
with
we
us.
don't have any
appreciate
more.
it.
We're also working on the character issues. We realized that sometimes we might have a little bit of a potty mouth, especially Alex. We aren't always the most politically correct people.
Just
we
so you
don't-
know, I've
we
been told
speak-
by many
this is-
people
see, this-
I'm the best character in the show. So, by at least 5 people.
You're not a character though. You're a person.
I'm a character.
Okay, fine. We'll say you're a character. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Does that suffice
we
for the
are working.
introductions?
We are working on all your intros.
Intros? Like, what are you talking about?
Dylan threw me off.
Huh.
Oh, it's my fault.
I'll tell you
All
how
right,
my week
it's my
is,
fault.
All right. So so it's interesting because we've been doing this podcast for about 2 weeks now, and I just come into grips like I am so bored during the day. It's like I should be doing something, but I'm not. I'm just sitting around and I'm thinking, there's no way any women want to hang out with me right now. There's just not a chance. There's a giant quarantine zone around me. No job, big loser, and I'm not a big fan of that. And so I think I'm going to start doing something. I don't know what. I'm going to pick maybe up a good hobby, but I think something's on the way because I can only spend so much time at Lifetime. So,
Alex, I got a real good alternative for you. It's called a fucking job.
No,
and
that's not the
if you
answer.
want to
I've
take
tried that
mine,
already. I've tried that, and that doesn't work.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
That is a solid alternative, though. You could just get off your lazy ass and go get a job.
No,
Yeah.
but I signed a contract last week saying that I couldn't. So, I mean,
We could
I-
relieve
That's a
you
good
of that
point. It
contract.
is in
I'd be
blood.
breaking the
You
law.
did contractually resign from the rat race.
I did.
That is true.
I did.
Alex. So here's also the other thing that's not being really talked about yet. Alex has said that he's not going to shave his beard until our Pros and Joes Twitter account has over 100,000 followers, and I think we're at a little over 3,300 right now.
Yeah, we're a
about
couple
3,500
hundred shy
a
of
day.
4,000.
So if I'm doing the math here, which I can't actually, so I'm not going to do it. But it's going to be a while. So hopefully we have like a big controversial podcast sometime in the near future, so we get a bunch of followers and I can trim this disgusting beard. So it's
He does look like a bum. I
I'm
can't.
starting
Yeah,
to
it's not
smell,
looking
too.
great.
Everything about me starting to decay. Like I don't know. It's not a good trajectory.
That unemployment life.
It is. I just got my first unemployment check today, which was
And
a
what
good
did you
deal.
spend it on?
I bought a Scotty Cameron putter. And I paid off a stop sign ticket that I got last week. It's like the second that I don't have a job, all of a sudden these tickets start chasing me, and I'm like, damn it.
Well, it's because you always just gotta roll stop signs.
That's true, but this is the first time I've ever gotten one. I've never gotten a
no, but
ticket for
I got-
rolling a stop sign. It's $120.
Like three months ago, I was in the car with you, and you got pulled over for rolling a stop sign while we were in the car, and the guy thankfully just let you go. He was a good cop. Thank you for that one. But yeah,
Alex,
that could have been
you're
three stop
notoriously
sign-
a
two
pretty
stop
shitty
signs
driver.
tickets.
You know what?
You're a bad driver. I've got to say.
I have driven more miles
Someone
than
had
all
to
you
say
guys
this.
combined. I don't want to hear it. All right, I guarantee it. I am. You know what?
Not
I mean,
anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Dude,
For everyone
I put
listening,
40,000 miles on my car last year, so I don't want to hear anything about it from you. From you
For
guys. judging
everyone,
on
listening.
driving. Even though I did rear-end a guy a couple weeks ago, so
so we've just been informed by our man behind the scenes, Jacques Toulet, that Alex, at our current rate, it will be 967 days until Alex shaves his beard.
Wow.
shit.
That is about 3 years.
There is
I
no
can't even
way.
imagine.
3
It already
years.
looks terrible right now. I can't even imagine after 3
All right,
years.
it looks pretty good right now. Who are we kidding? All right,
You
the
are-
thing
busting
is-
your
You're
balls.
gonna look like Tom Hanks in Castaway.
I'm shocked.
He's going to make Tom
He got
Hanks
some at the
look
end of
like a
that movie, so that's
prepubescent
fine.
little bitch.
Here, let's make a deal now, Alex. If you shave your beard before 100,000 followers, we got to decide what you have to do.
Oh, that could be a good thing to open
That's a
it
good
up
thing.
to the followers.
I
That's
feel
a
like
good thing
I
to
put a
open
lot
it
of
up to
pressure on
everybody
myself
else.
for this podcast. I can't take a job, otherwise I got to give you guys my first year salary, and I can't shave my beard, otherwise I'm gonna face some unknown punishment. How about you guys just enjoy
well,
the
here's the
humor
thing, Alex.
and we
You
go on to the
you
next
get
segment.
into these you get into these bets where you know you have no chance of winning, but you do it anyways. Like there's no chance you're ever gonna dunk a basketball.
You know
no
what?
chance.
Yet you're gonna owe me $1,000 in about a year or so.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I was grabbing rim a couple weeks ago, and then I didn't do my jump ropes for a couple weeks, and I am nowhere close to where I was a couple weeks ago. So I got to climb back up that hill. But I think I'm willing to do it. I think when the moment is right, and I have absolutely no choice, I will hit the, put the pedal to the metal, and I will dunk a basketball. If not a basketball, at least a 16-inch softball. So.
I guess now would be also a good time to tell everybody that we will be having our first pro guest, head coach of the Loyola Ramblers, Porter Moser, and we will also be having our first Joe guest, one of our very, very good friends, WWE knowledge extraordinaire, Topher Blaney. So this episode is going to be a good one.
It
so
will be.
We'll get right into it. And now our first ever interview on our podcast, a fellow Bennett Academy alumni and the man that just took his Loyola Ramblers to the Final Four, head coach Porter Moser.
Today we welcome on our first guest, fresh off his Loyola Ramblers team amazing run to the Final Four, but more importantly, a fellow Bennett Academy alum, Coach Porter Moser. Coach, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
We're doing great. Great to be on with some Red Wings.
Indeed, go Red Wings. Yeah, best private Catholic school in the Midwest, at least.
Absolutely.
I'll take that claim. Well, first, I think everyone wants to know, what has it been like for you, especially in the aftermath of the Final Four?
You know, it's. I was just talking a little bit. It's Frank, because you went on it as a player, but there's really as a coach, there's no preparation you can do. I mean, you know, the moment, that we get there, the huge charter plane pulls into a airport hangar. You get off to a huge red carpet parade, convertibles that say Loyola all over it. We come up to the hotel, and the entire hotel is just masked with huge, like, fat heads of our team and our, thing. And the hype around it is just so big. But our guys have been embraced the whole journey. I mean, every game, I don't think we set out to say, oh, we're going to go to the Final Four at Loyola. But every game we played in front of us, the guys were like, we're going to win. We thought we could win. And even the Michigan game, we were up at half and we held with 22 points. We felt good. It's just we had that bad run. But since then, it's been surreal. I mean, the Chicago embraced us so much, and really the whole country did. And I've been on the road recruiting this week, and I was in the Atlanta airport, every Kansas City airport, and it's been incredible how many people embraced our team and how we played and how we did it. The Bulls had us Saturday night at the stadium, and they gave us a standing ovation. I'm throwing out the first pitch this afternoon at Wrigley Field for opening day. It's really cool growing up here, having the city embrace Loyola, our program, the university, the way it did.
That's and it's crazy. You remember, those are the things you remember. Obviously, what you do on the court is amazing, and that's what builds it. But all the off the court experiences and everything. I would have liked to have heard you were throwing out the first pitch at a White Sox game, but
I know you. I know. I am going to go there. I did do it before, and I'm going to go over to the White Sox. I was with Terry Reinsdorf in his suite at the Bulls game the other day. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's something you got to do. That'll be when it's validated. But what do you think? If you had to pick one thing, what do you think the coolest part of the whole experience was?
It was probably when it was just our guys and our coaches. Like there was so much media attention, so many people around you, and I remember going back to the hotel, like finally making it through the crowded lobby of the hotel, and then we kind of went up to our we had like a ballroom where we ate, and it was just our guys and the coaches, and we're sitting there looking around going, boy, you're going to the Final Four. just the moments with your own guys, because you're the ones in the trenches, what you're doing. We got such a close-knit group and coaching staff, and just kind of some of the private moments there were special. But that I tell you, the other one, Frank, was probably I didn't realize it until afterwards. I've always dreamed of. I watch every year the confetti coming down, and you're on the stage, and they're handing you the regional trophy.
Yeah.
And I look back on this picture this guy sent me. It was a huge glossy photo of the confetti coming down, and I'm standing there holding the regional trophy, and that was really cool. And then probably the biggest one is when I watched the replay of the game. They showed me going over and hugging my family and seeing their faces, and like my daughter's crying and my son's just excited, like my three sons, just to see because they have to sacrifice so much in this profession and along this journey, and to see their joy on their faces, when I was hugging them when we were going to the Final Four was really special.
Yeah, that was what it definitely was for me too. Obviously, Alex and Dylan were there at the first time I made it to the Final Four, and my family was too. And I think that's the part that I really realized what I did was when you go and embrace your family, you see how excited they are for you. Because it's hard to notice, when you're in the game, you're just trying to win. It's not.
Yep.
It's not all about, hey, we're playing to go to the Final Four. It's about winning that particular moment, and
Yep.
I think that's. I'm glad we see eye to eye on that one.
Yeah,
that
mean,
was the coolest experience. That was the coolest part of it all for me, was seeing how happy, because you're right, your family and your friends put so much into it, and it's pretty amazing when it pays off.
You're so spot on about being in the moment, because you don't realize it. Like you're just in the moment of, even after when we eat after every round of the tournament, you're in game mode preparation for the next one, and during the game, you're just so much in the moment of what you got to do, what adjustments, and you're trying to win. Exactly, you're spot on. And it wasn't until I saw that telecast and really, it got me emotional watching me embrace them and seeing their faces, because it definitely was the coolest part.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Alex and I saw Frank go from being a player who had never played in a Final Four and being a player who did play in a Final Four. And it really is just a life-changing event. After that, everywhere Frank went, people would talk to him. People would say stuff to him. Is that something you're experiencing now too? Everywhere you go, someone wants to say something to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's cool. I mean, I'm not that guy that's going to be like, oh, I don't want this. I mean, it's been surreal. Literally, I went to, my daughter had an AU game over at the Waukegan Fieldhouse, and it was nuts. Every single team, the girls' teams wanted to take pictures, and that part of it's cool. I mean, heck, it's better than the opposite, where no one knows what the hell Loyola is.
Yeah, that's true.
What what's really hits you is when you're out of town. I was in Kansas City at a restaurant in a corner. I was on the phone, and people kept on coming up to the table, and I was on the airplane, and they made an announcement, on the on the PA of the thing, congratulating us, and everybody came. It's just been,
that's cool.
Going to the United Center, just making our way up walking through, people stopping, and the thing that's the coolest is what they say. They say thank you. I mean, I've never had that. I mean, I've had, hey, nice job, good seeing you, but people from Chicago said thank you for giving us this moment, thank you for connecting us, a loyal alumni. It was so dormant, for so long. I've been outreached by so many loyal alumni who are just thank you for energizing our university, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys really did.
Speaking from my own family experience, me and my whole family went down and watched your Final Four game against Michigan downtown Chicago. It's the only time we've ever watched a game in Chicago, for any sort of college basketball game, where we felt like we had to be in the city in order to kind of experience it. So you vamped up the energy of the city just from obviously just winning basketball games, which is kind of cool.
It is, especially from growing up outside of Chicago, but growing up a diehard Chicago sports teams fans. I'll include the White Sox in there, Frank. And
thank you. I really appreciate that. But I love us.
And but it was something that just to have. I mean, just to see the reactions. I saw so many viral videos of bars and student centers at Loyola, but just going nuts during the thing. You don't really realize that when you're in the moment of the journey of what's happening. And I tell you what was really cool was after the Kansas State went going to the Final Four, they showed a picture of the skyline of Chicago, and the building was lit up. It said "Go Loyola," and I was like,
yep.
God, that just gave me chills, because it was just so cool to see that.
It is cool, and I think the reason why the city embraced it so much is because you guys won in the right way. In my opinion, it wasn't a fluke that you guys were there. You guys won playing team basketball. You guys defended, moved the ball. Everyone on your team scored the same amount of points pretty much. Everyone,
Yep.
That's what I think. That's why Chicago embraced you guys so much, is just the fact that they see a team playing the game the right way. And being from Chicago, that's really refreshing to see. We haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, to harp on what Dylan just said, every single game it seemed like one player stepped up in the moment that you needed it. Every game was, all the way to the Final Four. It just seemed like it was such a team philosophy that any player on the court could step up at a big moment and hit the big shot, and that's exactly what happened. So,
what was really cool, it was a real statement, too. When Dante Ingram hit that game winner against Miami, He was on the podium at the press conference, and he was up with some of his other teammates. He's like, you know what? Any one of these guys could have hit that shot. I was just fortunate enough to be on that end of it. Then the next game, Clayton Custer hit the game winner against Tennessee, and he's like the same thing. He's like, God, I'm just fortunate I was the one here. You know, we all can step up. Then the third game, Marcus Towns hit it. And what was really good, and Frank, you'll appreciate this, you know, when a guy hits a shot like Clayton Custer hit to go to the Sweet 16, we come back to a police escort to a parade back on our campus. Everybody's all over Clayton. He hit it. Then you get the whole week of talking about that shot. And then the very next game, in the next same moment, he's in the same. A lot of times, like, I'm going to go get that again. And he drove down the lane and he drew in the corner. And instead of taking a bad shot, he kicked it to Marcus Towns, and Marcus Towns hit the three. And then there they go again, talking about the other ones. You know, hey, anybody could have hit that. And then the fourth game, Ben Richardson, who was kind of in the wings, playing great defense, but didn't really score much, had 23. And they were every game they were genuinely happy for each other. And I've said this. Everyone talks about Chicago as a pro town. It's a sports town. It's a sports town. They appreciate winning. They appreciate winning the right way. Tough, hard-nosed, blue-collar teams. And I do think that played into why they liked our team as well.
Do you think, obviously, like you said, you have multiple players that can step up on a team. And we read that a lot of your players were state champions in high school. Do you think that plays a big factor into moments like that, people that aren't afraid to step up in the big moment? Or do you think that's something you were, because I know in Wisconsin we worked on those late game situations almost every single practice, so you were comfortable once they did it in a game. Do you think it's something that's in their DNA or something that's been coached into them?
I think it's a combination. I mean, we too work on those late game situations, like the one that he hit the shot against Miami. You know, we call it attack. It's like we get it out quick, we space it, we start to do a hook, we run the corner, we do different things, and you know, instead of letting the ball bounce, let the other team set up. Well, they missed a free throw, and we were right into attack. So there's definitely a comfortability of and a confidence of situations working on in practice. So we do the same thing. But I do think there's a lot that goes into being a part of a program where it's about winning and investing. And you were firsthand there with Coach Heitkamp and at Bennett, what you did there. And you came from a program that was a program. And that's in your DNA. That's what you know. That culture is what you know. And when you got to Wisconsin, that's what you bring, and when you get a group of guys where that's what they bring, that was my whole vision of building this thing at Loyola, because I came from Bennett in a different era, but the era was the same in terms of, it was about the front of the jersey, and it was about winning, and you might sacrifice scoring 25 a game for less, but you're going to win, and I think that's a combination of both, and that's how we built this thing.
That's awesome. And I know Alex has a question for you about your recruiting going forward.
Yeah. So hey Porter, like I said, Alex Flood, class of 11. Go Red Wings. How do you plan to grow the Loyola B-Ball program, and do you fear on losing out recruits on powerhouse names like U of I, Kentucky, and UMBC?
Great question. It's a great question about recruiting, but did you say UMBC? I didn't catch that. I was listening until the very end. You know what? I've been facing it a lot. I've been going after guys, and I continue will. We'll always face the Power 5 recruiting knock. I mean, it's just selling it. But at Loyola, one of the things I've always said is I say, come here. I go, so many young guys, they want to make a splash on announcement day. They think announcing what level they're at validates them as a player. What validates you as a player is when you walk out the door and your career's over, what you did, not what you did at the beginning on signing day. So I always say, go make a splash on game day. Making a splash on signing day lasts one day. Go to a place where you're going to make a splash on game day. That's 130 days. And that's what we've tried to, but I still fight it. And the coming right off the Final Four, no question, the recruiting calls we've made this week, it's a different tone, it's a different reception. I do say one thing that the coaching staffs that have been in the Final Four probably realize is you get a little bit behind right now. Like some of the guys that we're trying to call, they already got 2 or 3 visits set up. They're interested, but they got 2 or 3 visits already set up, and now you're the 3rd or 4th visit, and sometimes late it doesn't get to that visit. So it's a little tricky thing where, you know, hey, oh, God dang, we're interested in all this. Well, I got to visit here, here, and here first, and I'm like, oh. So it is a little bit we got behind because we're playing so long. But it's been a great reception of what we're doing, and I'm still looking for the right type of guys. I mean, I know fan bases want the 5-star, 4 stars. Heck, I've never been wrapped up into that. I want guys that are going to fit what we're doing, fit the culture, what we're doing, and then develop them. We're a program of development.
Yeah, to your point, like coaches like Jay Wright, they say, and the coach for Purdue, they say that when they started having success, it's when they started recruiting, you know, Purdue players and Villanova players. It's like it's its own characteristic, and obviously you're trying to create the identity of what a Loyola player actually is, which is kind of cool.
That's a great point. Great point. It's exactly well said.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for coming on and being our first guest. Really appreciate having you. It's been great. Nothing but the best to you in the future, and I hope you really get to create that Loyola identity that you're looking for. And obviously, go Red Wings.
Hey, exactly.
This summer,
Thanks
Frank.
For having
Frank and I want to
to
come play in an open gym with you guys.
Come on.
He wants to go against Krutwig.
I don't know if you
I want a
know
piece.
Frank does.
Oh, I've got.
I want a piece of Krutwig.
We'll come out and play in an open gym. We'd love to. That'd be fun.
That's awesome. Thanks,
we'll
guys.
bring high camp.
Yeah, high camp will coach the heck out of everybody in the gym. Me too.
Oh yeah, you will.
See you guys.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Take
Kevin.
care.
All right, bye.
So our first segment of the Send News today, and remember, send us hot news at any time to
All the news, all the hot news,
all the
in
hot
DM.
news you can
Or
possibly think of. Send it to our Twitter handle at BarstoolProJoes. We do see them all. We have a lot of people looking at that Twitter from our side, so none of them will go unseen. So yeah, we want to bring our first Joe ever onto our show. His name is Christopher Blaney, also known as Topher Blaney. It's just a nickname that Frank calls him. I don't know why. I actually don't know the significance of it at all, to be quite honest.
It's Topher.
Topher.
Hello, everybody.
Because one night he got insanely drunk
Every
and
night.
was obsessed with saying Rudy Gobert and just kept saying and so I just shortened it to his alter ego, which is now Topher, which is now just him in general.
Those don't really
Well,
sound alike, but okay.
A little bit of the backstory. Dylan used to absolutely pummel me with Rudy Gobert on the Utah Jazz.
Pause.
And I unfortunately, when I went to my alter ego spot in my head, subconsciously brought up the name Gobert and just muttered it over and over and over.
Gobert.
And it rhymed with Topher. Topher stuck.
The rest was history.
The
You
rest was
draw a
history.
line from there and you cross the T and dot the I and now you get it.
Yeah. So he is a WrestleMania WWE fan in general, like super fan, as big as you can get. He has actually cried after the end of a WrestleMania before because of the result. As a grown man, he cried and shed tears. I saw it. I saw him go to his knees and do it. I swear to God. So, yes,
you know
we brought
what?
him
It
on
was
to talk
when-
about WrestleMania 34. We know he's got a lot to say about it, and he knows a hell of a lot more about WWE than we do. So we can't wait to hear what he has to say. And he also had a lot of disappointment with how WrestleMania 34 ended.
Let me jump in for this. He is such a big fan that I feel like I'm becoming a fan as a result, as disgusting as that sounds, because I've hated this stuff my whole life. But he has such a passion for it. Last night when WrestleMania was going on, I'm like, fuck, I think I'm going to go over there and watch it with them. And Chris, let's hear what your thoughts were. What's the review on WrestleMania 34?
Well, it is an honor to be on the most electrifying podcast right now out there on the internet. So let's say it. Just started by talking about the millions and millions of listeners that we currently have out there. Pleasure to be here. Now, jumping into WrestleMania, I want to give a little bit of a preface here because everyone's got the stigma that, oh, wrestling, it's fake, it's scripted, blah, blah, blah. You're a jabroni if you say that to me ever. If I see you and
It's
you
so
tell me wrestling's
scripted.
fake, you're done. It's okay. That would be like saying that Game of Thrones is scripted and Game of Thrones is fake. It's a story. It's a show. It's not real life per se. Guys aren't smacking each other in the heads with chairs trying to murder them. It's entertainment. So I need you to run with me for a little bit here. While I
We're
kinda
running, baby.
Go into the background. So, you talk about wrestling to your average Joe in our demographic, and we think about Stone Cold, The Rock, Mankind, Mick Foley, WCW, WWF, the Attitude Era.
Chris, none of us know who the fuck those people are outside of a few.
Okay, well, a good core of people get that good nostalgia feeling. Now, wrestling is a very, very popular piece that crossed sports entertainment and pop culture. WrestleMania became the iconic signature Super Bowl event of the year where you draw in some of the big names in sports, in entertainment, in pop, people who perform, who do concerts, who come out, do stuff in the matches. That pertains this year because Ronda Rousey.
Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
Say that 40 times fast. So
You can't even say it one time.
I did. So that's the biggest draw this year, actually getting her to come and do wrestling. Now, part of me as a diehard wrestling fan, that you see someone like that coming in and you get skeptical because it's just a big money grab. It's just a draw. They're not going to know how to do anything.
There was no chance they weren't going to have her win.
Well,
there was a 0% chance that they were not going to have her win her first WWE WrestleMania.
Of course. And part of it, I thought potentially you had, for those who don't follow the story, Stephanie McMahon, the princess, quote unquote, for the WWE, daughter of Vince McMahon, married to Vince McMahon, the one who started WrestleMania, owner of WWE. She is married to Triple H, former superstar. The two of them got in a feud with Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. Details kind of irrelevant for the mass followers. I thought the match was going to be a bust. Ronda kicked ass. She was awesome. I'm telling you, she performed. She absolutely stuck it to Triple H and to Stephanie in the match, and she performed just as well as most of, if not all of the females and a lot of the guys too. So
here's actually the only thing that I picked up on this. Didn't the women do a hell of a job or something like that?
So one of the things, back in the day, I talk about the Attitude Era. Apparently you guys don't remember any of that stuff, but that's when they literally would have bra and panty matches, and Vince McMahon just being a huge asshole to women and making them say ridiculous things in interviews for assistant secretary jobs, etc. And, they made him arm candy for all the superstars.
Yeah, it was actually entertaining.
Well, okay. That's
They actually
What
had
they've done-
scripted sexual assault in their shows. That would not fly in
literally,
2018.
So actually, a quick funny tidbit: Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, who wrestled Ronda and Kurt Angle, in how they got married in the show, Triple H got her drunk and married her in Vegas and showed Vince the tape in the show. That's just a funny tidbit that people who watch the story now just
It's a good way to make
recall.
it
WWE is so ridiculous.
And that's what makes it awesome, though. But going back to the point, they've made a good push to actually make, they've tried to get away from the diva stigma, and it's become the women's division. And
Isn't Ric Flair's daughter like a stud?
so Charlotte Flair is the best WWE. Yeah, there you go. The Queen City, baby. You know it. So, yeah, she is actually the top girl right now. And it is, personally, I watch the women's matches as well. I watch everything. In a fantasy league, so we have to make picks every single week. Oh yeah. And
That's a
unfortunately,
new
WWE,
level of
which is
loser.
Crazy.
I fell short. WrestleMania is the last event of the year, and I lost our fantasy league last night. So very disappointing for me.
Hey,
But-
Chris, what was it about the ending that you hated or disliked so much?
So, kind of talking about you think about WrestleMania, like I said, it's the Super Bowl for wrestling. It's the biggest event. It's the championship. everyone who's a wrestler aspires to be there. And so the main event is supposed to be the top match of the year. And, I mean that in multiple senses. I mean, you got to have compelling stories with captivating characters that people like. You have to have, high aerial maneuvers inside the ring. You got to have good build-ups. You got to have the announcers sell it. And it just didn't happen. You had two main events. I'll talk about the one that people would probably know more about. Brock Lesnar, obviously know him from his fighting stuff, versus Roman Reigns. You got someone who doesn't care about the WWE anymore with Brock Lesnar, who's there for a contract, who just kind of goes through the motions. And, you got Roman Reigns, who's a guy who has been in 4 main events in WrestleMania, 4 main events, and has not once done something that people have just been like, wow, he belongs there. He really has to continue to be the guy in the spotlight.
So he's the Cincinnati Bengals of the WWE.
I mean, but he's going to championships. So,
So he's the Buffalo Bills, is what you're saying.
4
in a row.
Don't know if those can make the direct comparison there, but no, man, it's so disappointing. Like, because I pour in hundreds of hours and dollars and just text, like all these group threads that I'm in and all these things I follow, and just to have it end with no climactic suspense. I will say, what I'll say, it was an okay WrestleMania overall, but if your main events suck, it can't be a great WrestleMania.
So it's
Chris,
safe to say you had WWE blue balls.
But here's Frank's got a question. I'll get to him, but I will say this: the greatest thing about wrestling, championship, Super Bowl was on Sunday, Monday Night Raw is the next day, and they kick off the story again and push everything for the next year, and it doesn't stop. So it's the show that never ends.
So Chris, when you push WWE on all your friends like you've done to us so many times,
times,
and we tell you that we just straight up don't give a shit. Why do you continue to push it on other people? Do you think it's that great, or is it just like your thing?
It's a combination. I mean, these guys here, they see me in my Macho Man Randy Savage bro tank right now. That's a fan favorite. Ladies, gentlemen, everybody loves it. Just FYI, if you're looking to draw some eyes when you're out and about. But I personally think I get so much enjoyment out of it and so much entertainment. And if you guys can see that and experience it, then I think there's no reason not to at least try to give you a taste of it.
Just a quick little background of Chris over here. He was the mascot at Purdue for 5 years. He actually took a 5th year because he loved it so much. So he is a diehard Purdue guy. So he hates any other school in Indiana. And we were out one night and we ran into Cody Zeller, and he hates Cody because he's a Hoosier and he just thinks he's the worst person on earth. Cody told me he liked WrestleMania. They chatted the whole night. All night. So much to where I was a little worried about them.
I found someone who actually liked wrestling. He happened to be from the school that was in the same state as Purdue and happened to kick our asses a lot when he was there. But
because you guys suck.
Yeah, it was.
How did our coworker Pat McAfee do on the mic?
He was awesome. So to give you guys a little bit of background, so NXT is essentially the development league of the WWE, and they brought Pat McAfee in to do what they call the pre-shows. They do a pre-show before every single pay-per-view, and think of any baseball game, any football game, any hockey game, whatever sport it is, where you got analysts, former wrestlers, guys who just know it, whatever it is, and they just talk about the show and the rivalries and everything. And they brought him in, and once again, I was a little skeptical because I know he likes it. I know he does his weekly recaps, but to put him in that role is a big deal, and he killed it. He was awesome. I mean, I hope he hears this. I hope he's listening.
He'll hear it.
The diehard wrestling fans, I mean, they spoke very highly of him, including our whole crew. So kudos to him, man.
Yeah,
he did a great
your
job.
crew, the crew that defines diehard wrestling fans.
I don't know many other crews that got the title for whoever wins the fantasy league for the year. So I think we're up there.
I'd also like to thank Chris for ruining my Wednesday and my Thursday for shenanigans that he pulled on Tuesday night. Going to the club until 4 o'clock in the morning just wasn't enough for you, was it? We had to hit the Admiral, didn't we? we had to do it.
Guys, when we're out and we got the whole crew in town, We got places open till 6 in the morning. Why would we not go there? Why would we not experience that?
They weren't even serving alcohol. It was 7-Up.
We had
paid
plenty
$10 for a
beforehand.
7-Up.
By the way, they were handing out Stormy Daniels flyers that she's coming there at sometime in June. Just so you know, because we talked about
Make
that.
America horny again. That's her tagline.
Make
She's
America horny
profiting off
again. That's what she was talking. That's her.
Talked about.
That's her headline. Unreal.
Well, Chris is horny all the time. So.
Oh my goodness.
Apparently exclusively for
We've been-
WWE.
America's
We are
not been
cutting
horny
this out.
until
We're out.
Stormy Daniels comes the Admiral. June 9th,
Yes.
10th, and the 11th.
Yep.
They slap an amateur wrestler there. Chris is going to have
Chris-
material
Chris
for
will
weeks.
definitely be there.
If Trish Stratus gets there, I will be there open till close.
I don't think Chris necessarily begs people to do WWE. I think he just begs people to do everything that he wants to do, regardless. And that's why you get strung into going to the Admiral and literally being up till 7:30 in the morning and ruining your Wednesday and your Thursday.
but
I wasn't right until Friday.
Was it not an awesome night though?
It was so unnecessary. It was the most unnecessary visit to the Admiral of all time. By the way, the Admiral's a strip club, by the way, in case you didn't put that together.
Chase credit card saved Chris that night. By the way, just
did.
want to throw
Chase-
that out there.
Huge shout out and plug to Chase Fraud
No free
Protection.
ads, no free ads, no free ads.
No, Chase Fraud Protection
You get off this
saved
damn
my
podcast
life.
right now.
I was willing to take a couple $100 out of the ATM. U.S. Bank has no problem sharing that money.
All right.
Well,
Well,
Chris, thank you for coming on. That was great. Thank you for your insight on the WWE. Now get off our podcast.
go watch Monday Night Raw.
I am going right back to it now.
He's
Appreciate
been
it,
looking
guys.
at
Thank you.
updates the whole time.
All right, so the next topic on said news is the Masters. Obviously, it just wrapped up yesterday. I think overall it was a pretty damn exciting tournament for a golf tournament. I mean, the Masters has lived up to the hype the past couple of years, but
It always is.
yeah, I mean, it always is. You got Jim Nance, you've got, everybody. It's just you have to tune into the Masters. I was at the airport flying home from Texas outside a bar, and when Spieth sunk like a big putt on 12, the bar went apeshit. It's just everybody watches the Masters, and I think I could speak for about 90% of America saying we're disappointed that fat-ass Patrick Reed took home the green jacket. Because you want to talk about...
That's just a personal shot at the man.
Yeah,
It absolutely is. Everything I've read about this guy is absolutely negative. The reaction after he won was, I don't believe a member of his family has a pulse because they're the most boring. They're boners. I mean, this is just a shot at the Reed family. I think they're a bunch of boners. I was pulling for Ricky. Granted, I bet on him, but that's neither here nor there.
I was
but-
pulling for Ricky too, but it was also I wanted to see Spieth pull off
Me too.
that comeback.
Yeah.
He was really one day away from.
He's one hole away.
He had a he was what was it, a bad second day? I think he shot like 3 over or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. One day, the second day, one day away, and also a par putt away from the best round, tying the best round in Masters history. You'd like to see somebody cap that off. It was unfortunate he didn't do it.
He almost gave me something that I can tell my kids about, my future kids.
He did. Very close.
And I'm pretty upset it didn't happen.
On the plus side, I hit on a lot of my degenerate door picks. So if anybody had the stones to cash some of those bad boys in, Freddie Couples only
Zero
fell a
people.
little bit short. plus
Freddie
3,
Couples,
tied 38th.
he played great for the first 9 holes of every round. So see, that's why I identify with Freddie Couples, because golf should be only 12 or 13 holes.
Yeah, but
You
he's
play
like
great for
60
12 or
years old.
13, then you
He
tail
gets
off.
tired.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, he finished 6 spots worse than Tiger Woods, for God's sake.
Yeah,
I
my
mean,
Tiger prediction was not on, actually. It was very
That was
off.
off.
He was not relevant the entire weekend, which
He was
is a
not.
shame. So
He
It was
played
just
great in his
tough.
last round, but no, he never had a chance to win.
no, it was
He was
tough.
never
It's
even
like
close.
I've never had to do it. Like you have to walk your grandparents up the steps at a retirement home, but that's like what it felt like watching Tiger the whole weekend. You just hope that he's in contention or something, and it was just like, oh, poor Tiger, trudging along, couple over, I wish honestly that he just wouldn't have been in contention because it wasn't really compelling.
it really was.
You keep-
Are other players just that much better than him now? Is that like what we've determined, or is it just that he had a bad week?
I think other players are better than him now.
Yeah.
I think it's a
Well,
little premature.
he hasn't played competitive. He didn't play competitive golf for however long it was, and even before he stopped playing, he was already tailing in a negative direction. I mean, obviously, everyone keeps holding out the hope that he gets back to the form that he used to be at.
He never will.
I don't think
It's not gonna
he's never
happen.
going to have the miracle rounds that he used to have. It's just not.
It's just once you lose that mental strength that he had winning the way he won, like once you lose that for such a long period of time, you cannot get that back as an athlete. Like no one's ever done
That's what you see in Spieth now.
Yeah,
and that's what you see in Spieth now. You could just tell that he was in a different zone.
Yeah.
Like obviously, to go from, I mean, what did he shoot? 7 or 8 under?
I think it was 8.
I mean,
I think it was 8.
That's pretty ridiculous for a final round on Sunday at the Masters. Yeah. I mean, probably the most viewed golf event year in and year out.
It's almost as if like he was a heavyweight boxer who went 100-0 with like all knockouts. You know, like he was that dominant, and someone finally knocked him out. Then he's gonna get knocked out again. You know, and he lost that mental edge.
Do you guys think I'm wrong on the Patrick Reed take? I mean, this guy got caught cheating at Georgia, got kicked out. I mean, he took money from like his teammates or something. He basically disowned his family. Although his brother-in-law's his caddy, which is kind of weird. But I just don't think – I think golf having a villain isn't the worst thing in the world for it. But I had no satisfaction when he won. I was hoping for
voted
this.
the most
also-
hated player on tour by like some publication, so it's like you're not the only one that feels that way. It seems like most people hate him. So
Yeah.
And he's also at a Knicks game wearing the green Masters jacket. I mean, have some solidarity.
it's a little
dude.
tacky. Just a
Everyone knows that you won. You don't got to wear the jacket. I mean, I'm sure he's very happy that he won and
That upsets me.
whatever, but it does.
I'll tip my cap. That's a cocky move. I kind of respect it a little bit.
He's kind of embracing it. He's embracing the douchebaggery, and you know what? I think there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
So
I read that
Right.
if you follow his mom on Twitter, he'll block you. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I saw a couple people tweet saying that they followed his mom and then went to him like later in the day or whatever, or followed him and then tried to look at his Twitter again and they were blocked. So apparently, if you follow
let's
his
test
mom,
that out.
that's just what I heard. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's true. Maybe he doesn't care anymore. Maybe a lot of people caught on to that, and it's just too many people to block now. But yeah, if that's true, then that's the kind of guy he is. And Dorsett's spot on. And I mean, and he's
If you
wearing
guys are
his
loyal
Masters
followers.
jacket
You
at
all
the Knicks
tweet
game.
Patrick Reed's mom, and let's do a little experiment here.
He also said he was a top 5 golfer in the world before he ever played in a major.
Jesus.
I mean,
I mean, the
I
guy's
appreciate
got a
the
set of
confidence.
stones.
I don't.
Well, I do. I
Why?
mean, he won the Masters, so he wasn't far off.
He won a major, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. Is it just me, or does it ever feel like whenever the Masters is over and like the final seconds are being played, I always kind of feel like, man, I fell for the marketing again. I'm like, why do I give a shit about some golf tournament down in Georgia that they host every
Alex,
single year?
it's a
like,
beautiful day in
It's so
Augusta.
special. They do it every year.
I
Every
know.
single fucking
Hey.
year is the Masters. I feel like someone
Funny.
over the course of the time I'm watching it, someone somewhere is just beating me in life, and I'm just watching Sergio get the green jacket put on him.
It's funny you say that because I literally was watching it with Frank, and they were like, this is one of the most historic walks of the Masters. I'm like, he's walking to the green. Like, what is so historic about that? Like, they're like,
Is he supposed to walk somewhere else?
many have walked
Open
this
bridge.
trail. It's historic. It's like, oh my God, he's just walking to the
Historic
green.
bridge in all of golf.
It doesn't have to be
I
so
can't tell you
legendary.
how many times. I can't tell you how many times I watched the Masters feature group on my laptop. I cannot tell you how many times the people commentating on it talked about Rays Creek.
Oh, Rays Creek.
Oh, the infamous Rays Creek. Everything funnels towards the infamous Rays Creek.
This Ray guy.
Hey,
Whoever Ray was, he
Where
had a hell of a
Palmer hit it
creek.
in there twice. You know, I don't know. Are we ever gonna get sick of it? Are we? In the United
No.
States? Are we ever gonna get sick of the Masters? Like 260 years from now, like, oh my God, it's still historic after all these years.
Yeah.
I always take that away at the end. I'm always like a little bit unsatisfied. I'm just like, damn, like it's not that special. It really isn't. I don't. As crazy as a take as that is, like I don't know. And obviously, I'm not the biggest golf person in the world, but I'm just like, I feel like I wasted a weekend.
It gives me something to give a shit about.
That's exactly
Also-
it. It's just everyone else gives a shit
Also,
about it.
the Masters always seems to end or happen right around towards the end of the regular season for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever the Masters comes on, that's kind of start the starting of my itch to start golfing again.
Yeah.
When I'm in the season, I don't want to golf at all. Like, I don't want to touch a golf club. But once it starts winding down and it's Masters time, I just really like, for some reason, it makes me want to go out and golf. Like, I find myself wanting to stop watching the Masters and just go golf myself because I think I can play better. Like, when you watch the professional golfers, I get really cocky
that
about
hard.
my own
It's
game,
not that
although
hard.
I'm terrible. Exactly. They make it look so easy that when I go out there, I was like, I cannot hit one of those shots.
I'm itching to see her blow-ups.
That's true. I'm itching to see
And
you pull a Sergio.
It's going to be caught on Instagram all summer, baby. You're going
And
to see
it's-
it. And the
the
missed putts by Frank, you're going to see the putter into the green. It's going to be a fun summer, I'm telling you. Our
And
Instagram
it's
account's going to
funny.
be very active.
It's funny because during the tournament, they'll like hit the green and it'll roll off. And I'll just be sitting there like, oh my God, that was such a terrible shot. But I couldn't do that if I tried.
It's funny. Like, he hits a, Spieth hits a shot onto the green. And it's like, 30, 40 feet away from the pin. Like, oh, that's not the shot he wanted. I'm like, you got on the green. Are you kidding me? It's a great shot.
I would die to have that shot.
I would love to have that shot.
Putting for a 30-foot birdie? Are you kidding me?
I would
take-
8-putt
I
that
take-
thing.
I take 30 putt birdies every day of the week, baby. Every day of the
Half
week.
of the time, my birdie putt comes from halfway into the middle of the woods.
Yeah, and then you still like got a 5-putt left. It's ridiculous how easy they make it sound. But yeah, it sounds like Alex is out on the Masters. Dylan Frank thought it was entertaining. I don't like Patrick Reed. That's our
Clearly.
take on the Masters, people.
And Tiger he hasn't been sending the
Oh.
dirty texts that he sent 10 years ago. He just
That's
get
what he
back on
needs.
that game.
There's
gotta
a
get
saying he needs to get back on the sauce.
He needs to start that fire down there. He needs to do it. And he's not going to win a major until he does. That's a fact.
I don't think we can end the talk about the Masters without talking about Tony Finau and how he broke his ankle or popped his ankle out on the course and then just popped it back in and then played the entire Masters. Like, if that was Paul Pierce, he would have been wheelchaired
If that
all
was
the way
any
to the ER.
basketball player,
the way to the
they
ER.
would have been out for the year.
All
Frank
out for the
would
year.
have been out for
so
2 months.
These are pro of the day because that was pretty badass. If you saw the pictures, his ankle looked pretty
It was.
messed
You
up.
got to go look up the
Yeah,
pictures.
I mean,
The
he was
video.
He was so doped up. It's probably why
He
he shot
popped
so
his
can
ankle
attest.
back in public. That was amazing.
Spraining your ankle is one of the worst things, like pain-wise, because it just swells up so fast. He popped his ankle out. He completely dislocated it and popped it back in with his own hands. So I cannot imagine how painful it was
after hitting a
to
hole in one. Yeah.
have to walk, 72 holes?
That's pretty
After
outrageous. He
dislocating
must
your
have been
ankle, that's pretty
on
crazy.
so many pills to get through that entire weekend. I don't physically know how you can do that.
Yeah, he was high as a kite.
He probably was.
Either way,
Which makes me
hell
respect
of a
him that
Joe.
much more.
Joe Pro. He's a pro's
Joe
Joe.
Pro. So shout out Tony Finau,
However
however the hell you
his name.
pronounce it. Good
Great-
job,
he's
Tony.
such a great dude. I love him.
We know who you are now.
Great.
We know who you are.
Hey,
Attaboy,
if he never
Tone.
did that, no one would know who the hell he is. So, no problem.
The next topic on our Send News is Conor McGregor. Obviously, I think everyone's seen what happened with him. He stormed UFC's media day because he was reportedly very upset that he was stripped of his title, and that the main event of the UFC was going to be for what he thought was his title belt, and he was not happy about it. And also, allegedly, a trainer of his was either humiliated
Slapped
or
around.
assaulted or slapped around, and so he took him and all of his Irish buddies, started throwing things around. I don't know. I guess
They
it got
caused
pretty
a
out of
fucking.
control.
It was chaos. They broke.
It was a
like-
ruckus.
Yeah, there was a.
It was a
ruckus.
ruckus.
Looked like fun.
It was a real Irish ruckus.
It looked like kids at
And-
recess.
Good old Irish
And
brawl.
I'm going to go out and say this right now. I've learned a lesson in my life. If it smells like shit, it probably is shit.
Did I teach you that lesson?
This is a publicity stunt to the fullest extent. That's exactly what I believe that this is.
This was supposed to be our
Here-
Joe
and here's my thing. Dana White was on every single news outlet the next day. I mean, I haven't seen my Twitter timeline blow up about UFC like at all before this. And now supposedly Khabib, Nurma something, I don't know how to say his name. I'm not even going to try.
It's a mess.
Now he's saying he wants to fight that chicken Conor McGregor anytime inside or out of the octagon.
Shocking.
Ooh, that's juicy.
And I think this is all a publicity stunt to set up some sort of big McGregor return to the octagon.
And
I don't
agree.
think I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, we were
We
supposed to
can't even
disagree
argue
on this, but it's literally clear as day what happened. It's kind of like Frank in the NBA this year, wasn't it? The Rockets and somebody, they went down like the back
Clippers.
alleyway and they got in a fight or something. It drums up news about the NBA. It drums
I actually
up.
think that was real.
Yeah, that was real.
I think that was real too.
Door.
All right,
That
well, I
was-
missed
what
on
do you
that one.
What do you think
That
his
was
brain stunt
Ball
was
or
for
something
that?
like that, talking shit
His
about
brain
the
ain't
Clippers.
right, but like, I see his train of thought. It's just wrong.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well,
No, yeah, we see
whether
your-
it be right or wrong, the jury's still out on this. It gets you talking about that
But
event.
here's
It
the
gets you
thing:
talking
like
about that
now,
subject.
I want to see McGregor fight this guy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That's what I want now, and I think that's what everyone wants. So they're saying Conor McGregor is now going to be banned from UFC. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, too
Yeah.
much money.
Not going to
involved.
happen.
Dana White on the night or day, whichever one that happened, he literally said that it was the most disgusting thing he's ever seen in UFC, and that he basically never wants to see Conor McGregor fight again. And then today, and this is a quote by him, and he said, "Incidents like this don't look good, but at the end of the day, there's a lot worse things that are going on in sports. So I'll take a dolly through the window any day." And that he now respects McGregor.
Yep.
What else is going on in sports that's worse than your main athlete throwing a dolly through a window of a bus at another one of your main fighters? What other?
Because he's upset.
Am I watching the
It's
wrong
almost like
sports?
The WWE.
Yeah, like-
that's what they're taking. It's that you
Clear
gotta create
horse
story.
shit.
The fight itself isn't enough. You need to have like the bad blood behind it, and whether
You
they're
need the
gonna
marketing.
stage that stuff or not. Yeah, exactly, it's a marketing thing.
I don't think I'm going to watch
And
the
it's all
fight
about
because of
dollars
this.
and cents. Oh, I'm gonna watch the
I
Oh,
fight.
am.
Dylan, that's
Yeah.
just stupid.
You're gonna watch every Conor McGregor fight for the next 5 years. Come on.
I don't want to be marketed to like that. I'm not a fool.
you're
Oh,
being
get
used
off
like
your high horse.
We're all being used. It's all about the marketing. It's working. It's why we watch the Masters every year.
The
So-
pros market to dumb Joes like us. They get our small little brains to buy into this shit, and then they're going to make billions off of it. I
Even
mean,
when we know
everyone
it's
will watch that. Yeah. No, the UFC's not fake.
Even if it came out that it was a big
Promotions
publicity stunt and it was all staged, like yeah, it worked. Like
Exactly.
everybody was talking about it.
It really
Every
is.
single person.
It really is
He got
kind of a
arrested.
play out of WWE's playbook.
It is.
If you think about it, it
Think-
almost
Vince
absolutely
McMahon
is.
would be proud.
Wow.
Think about this. How shitty of a day would you be having? Let's say you just got like arrested for drunk and disorderly, or you were like a homeless person in New York. They walk you to the clink, and then you're sharing a fucking jail cell with a pissed off Conor McGregor. That's a pretty shitty Monday.
I should mention his bail was only $50K. Like he probably had that in his sock when they arrested him. He was like, "Oh yeah, just take that cash." Like
How does it work
$50K
with
for
bail?
that.
So his bail is only 5K, right? Because it's only 10%. You only pay 10% of your bail. Isn't that how it works? So it's only 5K.
I think so.
I don't know.
I think you have to pay. Yeah,
I've never been to jail. I don't know how bail
Alex,
works.
Alex, you would be the one that would know. You're the only one that's been arrested.
I have been to jail twice.
We're gonna save that for another story. I think.
Those are
What?
stories that will be told way later in the syndication. Once I never have to get a job again, we can tell those stories. Because I will
Wow.
never get a job after I tell those stories.
Well,
Yeah, that's not great. Well, no, Alden, how is it possible? Because Alden Smith's bail, that idiot for like the 49ers or the Raiders who keeps just beating the hell out of people, apparently. He had like 500,000 set for his bail last
Has
week. He
Gruden
got
cut him
arrested for,
yet?
like, this, I mean, if he
Yeah,
cut
it-
Marquette King, he had to cut
what are
him.
the odds that guy plays?
Gruden's on a
snap?
cutting frenzy.
What are the odds he plays a single snap for the Raiders under Gruden?
He shouldn't play another single snap in
0%.
the NFL. Guy's an idiot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dory, you better choose your words wisely. He might be listening.
That's true.
All right,
Whatever.
Alden
You
Smith.
can fly to
Free
Chicago
invite,
or
baby. We're
Charlotte,
going to be at
yes.
Rough and Rowdy this week. If you would like to show up, I don't think you have the stones to do it, but go ahead and show up, and we'll line up Rough and Rowdy 4. Let's
Yeah,
go.
come on.
You'll get in
Come
the
on, you
ring.
pussy. Come and get some Alden Smith, you freaking pussy.
Alex, do you think we could take Alden Smith, you and me?
Dude, me and Dylan, we could take Alden
No,
Smith.
you and me.
Absolutely. No.
Yeah, we're
me
fucked.
and Dylan could.
That being said, he's a chicken
wouldn't want
shit.
to.
He won't do it.
I would pay so much money to see that happen.
What, me and Alex?
Alex and Dor in a ring
5.
against
Us,
Alden Smith.
Me and Dylan versus
That would be
Alden Smith. It'd be a hell of
No,
a fight.
no, not you and Dylan. Don't hide behind Dylan. You and
You
Dor.
and me, Alex. All right, but you got to give Alex and I something.
Murdered.
No,
He's like
if
a
we've
murderer.
got like,
He's like a murderer.
if you've got like a chain and I got a chair or something, we could figure out a way around it.
Isn't he known for domestic
So you want a
violence?
WWE match against Alden Smith?
He
Not
he
the
is
guy
known
with
for
domestic
domestic violence. That
I want
does-
Hell in
that
a
doesn't
Cell.
help us.
Oh, whatever. What would happen if LeBron did what Conor McGregor did? Like, that would be complete anarchy, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Ooh.
But
If LeBron did what Conor McGregor did,
where you're just tossing crap through the window to piss off Steph Curry.
He would just go back to
Boys,
Miami.
so. That's true.
That's something to think about. I don't know.
I don't
Worse
know.
than the UFC though, so
Yeah.
whatever. It was staged. It's all for money. They're in the
The NBA is going to become like the WWE in the next 5 years.
I mean, in a way, it already is.
Frank.
You build up all the storylines and all this backstory shit about it.
Speaking of, we got to get you in WrestleMania. Chris is over there thinking right now. Chris, you want to jump on the mic? You got some ideas for him? So he's got plenty of ideas.
Frank, I think you get
Yeah.
your chicken legs snapped out there.
Yeah, but I think the Ball family on WWE was a colossal flop. So I think they're in the market for somebody who could do a little bit better.
Yeah,
Gronk
well,
was on it, and he did a good job.
okay, but Gronk and Frank are a little bit of different body
You
types
could,
to put on.
dress Frank up in a great outfit, and my God, the fans would love him for life. Frank the Tank, he
I
rolls
wanna
in
be
on a
in-
tank, dude. He rolls in a-
That'd be
Oh,
awesome.
Chris's eyes just lit up like a Christmas tree.
Ooh, he's got the jerkins ready to go. Him and his little WWE.
I want to wear one of
fanboy.
those Speedos and get on stage in a
Sponsored
bunch
by
of pads and oil myself up just to look like an idiot running around a stage in a fake fight.
I'd pay money
Do
to
that
see
for free.
that.
It'd be good.
All right.
Hey, you might do that Rough and Rowdy on Friday, so. And any Charlotte fans that are listening to us, DM us. Maybe we'd hang out. Maybe we won't, though. I mean, it really depends. Personally, no. So. And,
All right, we're going to move on to the next one.
Good question.
At Jake's Thought, what's the most rewatchable movie of all time? Mine is National Treasure.
Ugh, mine's Titanic.
That's good. Mine is Jurassic Park and or Jurassic World.
mine
Jurassic
would be
World?
Goodfellas.
Get out of
Why
here.
Dylan.
Jurassic
It was-
World.
Jurassic World was terrible.
It was fucking fantastic. Fantastic.
Wow. Wow. Jurassic World is one of the most rewatchable movies to you. Okay.
It's
All
it's
right.
one giant.
I
That's how we
haven't
know.
rewatched it since I walked out of the movie theater.
I think I say that because it's legitimately that and one of Mark Wahlberg's 17 Transformer movies are on FX every single night. So it's just on by association. But I don't know. I like dinosaurs. Sue me, Dylan.
I like
So you like
dinosaurs
Land
too,
Before
but that movie
Time.
sucked.
Is that one of the most rewatchable movies ever for you? Land
No,
Before
because
Time?
that's some unrealistic bullshit, Dylan.
But Jurassic World's realistic.
I'd like to think
The
so.
guy's talking to reptiles, or he's talking to velociraptors. Oh my God.
Dinosaurs absolutely didn't have
I
feathers.
saw
When
That's
that
he-
movie
bullshit.
in
when-
theaters with you too, and me and Kevin walked out of the theater thinking that was the worst movie I've ever seen, and you just kept your mouth silent. And just
Exactly, because I felt the exact opposite
you were
way.
just like, I enjoyed that to the fullest extent. And you know what? I have a little bit of pride for you. You know what? You
I'm
held
sticking
your-
to my
you-
guns.
you
I
could
love
have
Jurassic
fought for it, but
World. If you
didn't.
guys need an
let us
extra.
air our dirty laundry out as you make that as one of your most watchable movies of all time.
I
Bravo
can't
to
believe
you.
it.
If they need an extra to get eaten by a dinosaur in any one of the upcoming 14 that I'm sure they have planned in the series, just give me a call.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get to the next one.
Alex, did you say a movie?
I said Goodfellas
Oh,
or The
okay.
Departed, one or the
Sorry.
other.
That's a good one.
Frank, go again.
I'm not a cop.
I'm not a fucking cop. When I tell you to dump a body in the marsh, you dump him in the marsh, not someplace where a guy from John Hancock goes every Thursday to get a fucking blowjob. Next segment. Don't laugh. This isn't reality TV.